So I made that salsa you told me about. It was actually really good.
Oh yeah? You know, talking about food, I was just reading here about beans, and it saying even though they're healthy and low cost, people aren't feeding them to their families.
Really, why?
They don't know how to cook them.
Well, you know, that's exactly how I used to be. Then I found out that they're loaded in antioxidants, they're low in fat, they're high in protein, and they're actually really filling. So when I found all that out, Grandma started sharing with me some of her recipes and tips for cooking them.
Yeah, you know, I have some bean recipes I don't think you've tried yet. I made this Tuscan bean salad and a lentil spinach sauté. We should share.
I make an amazing Caribbean pink bean dish and also a great black bean brownie.
Black bean brownies.
Mom, the black bean brownies are a great way to give the kids beans without them ever knowing they're eating beans. And they're good for them too because we take out the oil and we take out the eggs, and I use the pureed black beans instead, so it's a really healthy, delicious snack for them. Low in fat, low in cholesterol.
Let's take a few minutes and share with others more about these recipes and how they can make them. The first dish that I made was the Tuscan bean salad, and that's one of my family's favorite dishes. It's easy to make. I use canned chickpeas, or garbanzo beans they're also called, and I used canned tomatoes, but you could also use fresh tomatoes. And it's just a quick, light recipe. I make it with the kids. We have it for appetizer sometimes, or just a snack, or along with our dinner. The salad dressing was a simple mix. It's just oil and vinegar, a salt-free seasoning blend, oregano and pepper, and just whisked together. After washing my hands and draining and rinsing the garbanzo beans, I mixed them with the tomatoes and then poured the dressing over top and just gently tossed them to evenly coat the dressing on the beans and the tomatoes. And then I serve it on a bed of lettuce, or you can roll them up in a lettuce leaf. The kids like it that way, and you could also use it that way for an appetizer. The other dish I made was the spinach lentil sauté, and I like that dish for a couple reasons. The lentils are easy to work with. They don't need to be pre-soaked. They're also a good source of protein for people who don't eat meat. And it's a very versatile dish. You can use whatever vegetables you like. In this recipe, I used dried lentils, some leftover rice, spinach that was frozen that I thawed and drained, canned mushrooms, onions, garlic, and a little bit of oil. First, I put the lentils in boiling water, and while they're cooking, then I saute my onions and garlic in the oil. And once they're cooked clear, then I add the mushrooms and the spinach and the leftover rice. And when the lentils are soft, you mix them all together until it heats through. Then when I serve it on a plate, I add some cheese on top. It adds some great flavor and some extra calcium.
So I did things a little bit differently. I actually started by making dessert first to allow my brownies time to cool. Of course, first I washed my hands, and then I took my beans, drained them, rinsed them, then put them back in the can and filled it to the top with water. You don't have to do it this way, but this is a way you can do it to make sure you have just about the right amount of water to make the right consistency. Pour that into a bowl, and then I mashed them up. When they were nice and mashed, I mixed that well with the brownie mix. After greasing my pan, poured it into the pan, set the oven at 325, and baked for about 35 minutes. So I started with the dry beans. I soaked them overnight, minimum 6 to 8 hours to soften them. If you don't have time to soak them overnight, you didn't plan ahead, that's not a big deal. You can boil them for about an hour. Or you don't want to deal with dry beans, don't worry about that either. Do canned. So once the beans are ready, you add the rest of the ingredients in. Plantains, onions, garlic, peppers, tomatoes, and a pinch of salt. Serve it warm, you'll love it. Beans are a crossover food. You can count them as a low-fat protein or as a vegetable. Beans come in many shapes and sizes, and they're a colorful addition to any meal. For more bean recipes and other healthy eating tips, go to Snap Ed for Me.